Hey, good morning. It is 6 o'clock. I literally just woke up, splashed some water on my face, and sat down at this computer. And I was thinking about doing a class selector, but more of like you go up to it, kind of like in Ember Knights and a bunch of other games. But that's the first one that comes to my mind right now. So doing the one where you walk up to it and like you select it by going up to the pillars and choosing your class. Hades, another one. But yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing for this one. Instead of like a menu, I might do a menu. I might do a menu later, but right now I just want to do this. So let me create a new level here. So file, new level, basic, and create. I only did that because I wanted a nice, fresh area. I could have done it in the other area as well. So I'm gonna create the class selector itself, and I'm just gonna make a blueprint class of actor. It's gonna be the BP underscore class selector. All right, so I'm double clicking on this. I can't talk right now. I just woke up. My mouth is dry as all get out. Do people still say that? Maybe not. Alright, so I'm going to add not a skeletal mesh, a static mesh. I'm going to be adding a static mesh to here. And I'm going to be, I want to make it like a cylinder. Just for the sake of this, it doesn't really matter what you make it. You can make your class selector as cool as you want it to be. I'm going to make mine a cylinder. And then I'm going to add a text render to this. Text render, which is just going to be the text that's going to go over it, telling you what class it is. You may or may not want that. But I'm going to be doing a text render, and I'm also going to do a visual. So, do something like that. Ooh, all right. I forgot to do box collision. Also, don't want this attached to the static mesh necessarily. Maybe not too bad, but whatever. So, I also want the box collision. Just gonna make everything attached to the scene root right now, and I'm gonna scale this up, grab the white thing in the center to scale everything evenly. Let me move this up a bit. Doesn't matter too much. Okay, that should be fine. Then I want a billboard because I want to create a sprite off of this. I don't have any special custom sprites right now because I didn't want to have to do the extra step of downloading something and showing you that way. So I'm going to be using some of the default sprites they have on here. Alright, so that looks fine. And alright, so now I want it so when you construct this thing gets constructed, so construction script, I want to make it so that we have text for both the billboard and the text render. So if I grab off this text render, I'm going to set the text. Okay, my spacebar is just broken. Okay, that's gonna make this video a little bit more difficult. I'm gonna get a new keyboard. I'm gonna promote this to a variable, and gonna make this a class text. Then I want to grab the billboard. And off of this billboard, we're going to set the sprite. And I'm going to just promote this to a variable. New sprite might not be a bad name. Yeah, that's fine. So actually, I'm just gonna make a class icon so I know exactly what I'm looking at. Class icon. Cool. So now I want to go into the event graph, and we're going to do all this logic off of the box closure. So when we just overlap it, I don't want to do like a whole thing. You can add like whether you want to press a button or do some other thing. I'm just going to have, if you overlap this component, it's going to switch your character. So I'm going to grab off of this, and then you want to grab anything that you want to change off of interacting with that platform. For me, I'm just going to do the third person character. So I'm casting a third person character. When it overlaps with this, I'm going to promote this to a variable first so I can use this later. Make this called old pawn, because I'm going to be destroying this pawn. So let me grab off of this, let me branch this. And the condition here is going to be whether this class reference is going to be valid. So I'm going to create a new variable, which is going to be the class reference. And for our class reference, it's going to be the third person character as a class reference. And then I'm going to create children off of this class or this third person character so that they're all third person characters. I'll show you later. But let me grab this right now. Gosh, my mouth is dry. I should have drank some water. My spacebar is super broken. Is valid class, and let me attach that here. And if it is true, then we want it to do another branch condition to check if you're already that class. So we're going to take the class reference we have, and we want to make sure that get class, not all actors of class. Sorry, what am I doing? Not off the class reference. You want to make sure the old pawn. Okay, well, actually I do need a class reference because we want to make sure that if it's equal to, and we're making false off that. Okay, so let me get the old pawn. Let me get a class off of that. Get class. Now, I'm going to make sure these two are not equal, because if you are equal, then you're already the thing that you're trying to become. So I'm going to, off of this, I'm just going to take the false, because we want to continue if it's false, if you're not already the character. I'm going to create a new condition here. And this is going to be on cooldown. So I'm going to create a little bit of a delay here, just so it doesn't really come up with errors. You can do like 0.1 seconds, but you can also do a longer cooldown if you don't want them to be able to switch immediately. I don't know why you'd want that. I'm still going to include that as part of the thing. So on If it's on false, we don't want it so it's not on cooldown. I'm going to drag this onto the false here, and I'm going to check this. So now that it's on cooldown, but now we need to reset it. So I'll need to set spacebar, please work. Set timer by function name, and the function name is going to be cooldown. I'm just going to promote this to a variable. Time, let me compile it. You can make it like 3 seconds. Just long enough so I can show you that it's actually on a cooldown. Let me add a function here. We're going to call this cooldown. And this is just going to be on cooldown dragged onto here. So it's like that. So when it gets to this point, it's going to wait 3 seconds, and then it's going to activate this function name, which is already right here, and that's just going to reset the timer. And I think that's good for that. I can keep continuing on this, but I'm going to instead create a separate spot so that it's not like just a run-on thing. So I'm going to spawn a new class here. So I'll right click, I'm going to get a custom event, and I'm going to spawn new class. And I'm going to drag off here so I don't forget. Spawn new class. And we're just going to split it that way. Don't necessarily need to do that. You can just keep running on with that thing if you want to. But I'm just creating this divide so it looks a little bit neater. Alright, so I'm going to be grabbing the old pawn. Let me just drag this up here. So old pawn, get the old pawn, and I'm getting the controller off of this. Getting controller, and then I'm going to be setting this player controller. I'm just going to rename this because I'm using this a lot. Controller. So player controller, drag this onto here. So we can set that. And then I want the old pawn again. I want to get the actor transform. Sorry, I'm not explaining this at all. So I'm getting the controller for this old pawn so that when I repossess, because I'm going to be repossessing a new object, which is going to be my new character that I'm going to be possessing. And that's also why I'm getting the actor transform, because I want it to transform in the same spot that my old pawn was in. So let me promote this to variable, and I'm going to do a spawn transform here. Spawn transform. And then I'm going to do, I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to grab because I'm doing the player controller, because I want the rotation so that when you switch to the new character, it doesn't like swap your camera right back to the default position. I want to continue with your current rotation that you're currently at. So get okay. Promote to variable. And this is going to be the old controller rotation. Alright. So that's fine. After I do that, after I get all that stuff stored, I want to destroy this actor. So the data has been collected on this old pawn. So now we're going to destroy the old pawn, and then we're going to have a new pawn to replace it. So I'm going to drag off of this, and then we're going to spawn actor from class, and I'm going to grab a class reference here. I don't know what the original one is, but I'm going to try to adjust the location, but always spawn. Otherwise, you're not going to have a character. Class spawn transform, I'm just going to use that here. And I think that's all I want with that. I want to promote this to a variable, and this is going to be the new pawn that we have. New pawn. So we have a new pawn now. We destroyed our old one. So what are we going to do next? We have to possess that pawn. So if I grab a player controller, drag off of that, I'm going to write possess. Possess here, and then this in pawn thing is going to be this new pawn. Alright, so on here I want to set the control rotation, and then we can input, let's see, and then we can input the rotation that we just got, the old controller rotation. And it's going to be the player controller again. And that's pretty much it for that. Now let me just create the little classes real quick. I'm going to make these like super fast. Alright, I can't press controls, but this is like breaking more and more. Did not mean to do that. Alright, so let me create child blueprint class. So this is going to be my, let's just say mage. So I'm going to create a mage. All I'm going to do is just change the colors. BP mage. And as you saw, that's the train. As you saw, I right-clicked and created a child class off of the... It's actually really loud. We're actually really far away from that train, but you can hear it really loudly. I'm creating a child class off of the third-person character because that's what I used as the type for the class change. Let's see. And I'm gonna do a warrior class. Make them different colors. And they're just going to be the first colors I see. So they're going to be ugly. Alright. Yeah, that looks terrible. But, whatever. Works for the sake of this video. Alright. So let me go back to the class selector. I'm just going to drag it into the world. All right, actually, let me change some things on here so I know that actually what rotation it's on. Oh, I totally forgot to make the class text, make that expose on spawn, hit the eyeball on this one, and anything else need an eyeball? No, I think just those two. Alright. So these are the text and the icons so that we can actually mess with them in here. So we're going to start with the mage. So I'm going to do mage. And the class icon for the mage is going to be this green thing image. Let me rotate this. Alright, so that's our mage one. And then I'm going to make a warrior one. It's going to be the red one. And that's going to be the icon for our warrior, because I didn't get any sprites or anything cool like that. I don't want to say that, never mind. So yeah, I think just what's left is clicking on this. Did I forget anything? Why do I feel like I'm forgetting something? Oh, these don't appear. Yeah, so if you go back into the class selector, click on the billboard thing here, and it has hidden on game here, so let me uncheck that, so it's gonna be false. And now hit play. Alright, we're in. I'm gonna go to the mage thing, and it did absolutely nothing because I didn't change the actual class for this thing. And that's the other eyeball I had to do. So let me expose this. Class reference is going to be the mage here, and this one is going to be the warrior. Play. And let me go here. Nothing happened. What the heck? Alright, let me go back into here. And I think the issue might be with the cooldown. Default value should be false, right? Is that the problem? Yes, it is. So I had to change the default value to be false because if it's checked on true already, you can never check it back on the way that it's run. So now it should work. Alright, so did that, change back. But if I run too quickly, it's not going to do it because I have the 3-second cooldown on it. So if you want it to be immediately, change it to like 0.1 or something. I only have it for conflicts if there's some error there. But yeah, it seems to be working. And that's all I wanted to show you. So have a good one. Bye.